Alright, hey, how's everybody doing? Golden, how you doing, darling? Um, I'm so sorry. I was trying to get this done last night. It is so early in the morning right now. Uh, I was trying to get this done last night, and I was feeling a little under the weather still, so please bear with me. I hope you're doing okay. Uh, I haven't seen your... I saw you had a new one up there. I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna try to get to it right after this. And let me just tell you, you always look so gorgeous, darling, and so you look so good. I can't wait to see, what you got to say for that one. And I think there was like one more on another one of your channels that I'll have to, but you know what I do. I always check them all out if you don't mind. But anyhow, this one is going to be called the Golden Nine. And that might mean different things to different people, but what I'm referring to here is the Golden Nine, which is, it refers to the number of digits in your social security number, or, an EIN or an estate number, which are all the same thing, but they do the same thing as well. They're just admitted to do the same thing or not by whoever you're dealing with. Don't let those actors and actresses tell you and fool you of what it can and can't do. They all do the same thing. Okay, so it's based on two things. Proclamation 9397 by, that was FDR, and you need to, people don't realize that FDR, I'm not saying anything about anybody, but, it's just funny that FDR and Adolf Hitler, they both had the same term in office. They both had the same exact term in office of extended number of years, and when one quit, the other did. So that, if that tells you, I'm not saying anything about FDR, but as far as who was controlling him, if that says anything to you right there, I don't know what would. It's based on, and the Proclamation 9397, and if you look that up, you'll see it refers to an account, which involves a number, not, it's just used for identification. No, it's an account, okay? And it involves your SESTA-K, VA trust number, account, or trust account numbers, and your Social Security number for most people. It is based on the Roman canon laws. The Roman canon laws, that's what attorneys, I call them praetorians, but it's what attorneys use. It is Roman canon laws 3.3, article 100, and canons 2045 through 2057. And I know all of that is familiar because I mentioned them over the past couple of nights, but I just didn't have the exact what it was down to for you. So that's what it is. It's Roman Canon Laws 3.3, 33, Article 100, Canons 2045 to 2057. That's what holds the secret, and that's what holds the proof, and that's what holds everything of what is holding your estates, and why they, basically, committed theft and grand larceny and all that stuff, and then decided to tell you, it was just, if they get caught, it's just a false assumption. Sorry, it was a false presumption. So they're based on false assumptions and presumptions, just like the accounting is based on today, okay? Okay, so through, from 2045, the canon's 2045 through 2057, and I was going to go down and kind of do each one of these for you, but then I've already done that in my information prior, but then when I went over it, it just kind of, it dawned on me that, it wasn't in detail. I still can't do it in detail today because it would, I can get more into detail for you, but I'll probably have to just end up posting the canons and letting you see for yourself. So we'll do that at a little later time here. It'll be soon. It might not be the very next one, but it'll be definitely very soon, and it'll be, done very quickly. But in a nutshell, and I do say not, the word not uselessly, or loosely, I'm sorry, uselessly and loosely, and referring to these francs / not C-ns. Here we go, 2045 basically, Canon 2045 was done. They needed to get our, and I repeat our, CQBs, sister KBA trusts, our monies away from, or our privileges in paperwork form, away from ourselves. So they did it in the form of, and if you read it, it'll explain that they did it in the form of private trusts and 5 commissary trusts. And I'm going to let you know here live, people, this is a live deal right here. As I'm talking, these blocking teams, I can hear them just as easily as they can hear me. Okay, and these blocking teams are going ballistic right now. All right, they cannot stand. There's nothing to do about it, but they can't stand me giving this information out. So let me spell it for you. B-L-O-C-K, that spells block, their favorite activity. I-N-G, that's blocking. T-E-A-M-S. Notice there is no I in team. Some will say there is in win, but I think you know how that's going right now. All right, so let's see, 2046. 2046, you would need to end up remembering the Sedition Act, the Trading with the Enemy Act, and the aliens, the term aliens, which is what they all wanted to end up being. Isn't that coincidental? I say coincidental. That was like 1917-ish, 1918-ish. They're getting ready for something. In 2047, and I'm sorry, we're still on 2046 here. So on the, and then in 1931, which is they're getting ready now, it's 2 years later is when this coup is getting ready to take place on the American People's Estates. They established a Bank of International Settlements that's located in Switzerland, a neutral country which supposedly nobody can do anything about. And then, of course, you know, in the big year, the 1933 coup, in which they did all of this, you know, and of course, in 1933, their final preparations were they had us stop using our own capital, establish a social security system, and that gives them control of what to distribute and what's not. That's not supposed to be how it works. And established historical cost accounting, which I told you about last night, in the previous chapter, I believe, on here. And that's what I was referring to. We're supposed to be using constant purchasing power accounting, or constant purchasing power, which is CPP or CPPA. Now on paper, now we go to 2047. This basically removes the capital issuing privileges or powers from the American people and their own estates as they're trying to steal them. And people, if you'll hang on to your important pieces of history, this crosses back. This is why the Durham report, not the one they did just recently here. I'm talking about of 1838 or 1839, whatever it was. But I think it's the Durham report of 1838. It says the American people will not know of the loss of their constitutional powers, and we, meaning the ones that are doing it, shall never even think of it or speak of it. That's the way that's worded, people. So I'm just letting you know, and that's Roman canon law 20. I mean, that part, the Durham reports, you have to look that up yourself. But 2047, that is what that covers, is taking the powers away from you, of your own capital now. So that's called fraud. That's called a war crime. That's called theft. And just one more thing, people, about, I'm going backwards here, but 2045, the very first one. They had to do all of this to get it away from the estates, away from the American people. They had to put it into all these private trusts or fide commissary trusts, which is now they can view you more as a prisoner kind of thing, or slave or whatever. They did it all through fakery of people's identities, meaning identity thefts, or their families. And they're not families, people. They make up more members of your Social Security account, and they don't even exist, but they that's why you hear about so many dead people voting, so many dead people, you know, cashing in on this and that. That's how they do it. And guess what? Doesn't that sound like it goes on today? And I'm talking about Roman canon law 2045. That's the first. This is the first one that matters here in what we're talking about. That they so your fake family members that they try to portray. Golden, you getting all this, darling? I'm just saying. And when I ran into all this, I was just, you should have seen me. I turned like 23 shades of red, man. I was, but, and this was long ago, but anyhow. And to do all of this stuff, you know, they have to act like, act like, what are all the American this and that that's passed or something always called? Act like, I think they're called acts, aren't they? They have to act like they're the executors of your estate. Well, they're not. And you don't have to die to use your estate. Those are called living trusts, people, at least in their made-up system, but you can claim that sua sponte, on the spot, and all laws regarding it ab initio, and claim it right then and there. It is absolutely unbelievable how they try to lie and trickery and treat their way into their own deal. Okay? You know, into what they want or whatever. So that's called a fake executor. It's called an executor de tort. You are the executor of your own estate, people, not them. So people, so basically, again, in that same nutshell, you can consider the Roman Canon Law 2047, we're up to 2047 now, to be the war criminal plan to steal your estate or all estates from the American people, the sovereign American people that they belong to, as they consolidate them, put them through a pool, and make them unidentifiable, and apparently they have a blank checkbook now. It's still not, because it's not, most of it doesn't have your signature on it. Actually, none of it does. And without complete and full disclosure, it doesn't even have your actual biological family's signature on it, which they would try to claim, but it doesn't. And they're referring to your certificate of live birth. So mentioning that, coming to 2048, it will, basically what this Roman canon law does is it plays, this is where I picked it up from in my previous mentions here. This is now we're at the hospital. You are separated into two entities at your certificate of live birth. Okay, one is your wallet and one is yourself and your name. Way back then they were content on just letting you have your title and your name. Now they're not even content on that, because they have to produce all your false family members and able to set up even more fake capital for them. All right, so that's 2048. That covers what I call, or what's called, the split. Remember, they have split fever. They split halves into quarters, quarters into eighths, eighths into sixteenths, and so forth. It is unbelievable. These idiots are psychopathic war criminals, and it is unbelievable. So that's the tricking part of the split plan. Now we go to Roman Canon Law 2049. And this basically is the part where they are now in operation of it. People just say, you know, the word operation and the word project are both what are better known as Nazi terms. They're from the Rhine River Valley in Germany, Nazi terms or franc terms, that they use for war. Well, I would call that, and all the operation this and all the project that, yeah, your evidence is all over the place, people. Anyway, so in going to 2049, this is the actuation of the, from 2048, which is where they planned all of this for the split. 2049 is the operational part of the split, where they actually start actuating the split with, you know, like non-fully disclosed signatures and everything of your own estate, your business estates, and you still have your private side. That's the thing. That's what they can't take from you. And people, in all actuality, to make it short and simple, your estate can never be taken from you. You can't give it to anybody. It is your body. It is your soul. You know, that is it. You can't do it. So, so in other words, without that private side, by the way, big hint here, turn your Social Security card over and what's attached to it, even, it may be on either or, and check out that red number. Sometimes it's in blue, but check out that red number there, like living blood. That is your gold. That is you. That is your, which Federal Reserve Regional Bank has issued a certain amount in your, I believe it was last time they counted, it was 12.2 million. And that's you. That's your private side, which leads to your claim of your enterprise state side, your estate side. Okay, have a look at that on your Social Security card if you want to every once in a while. Okay, that'll give you some reinforcement here. All right, so, but you can't give it to anybody, people. They have to, the only way they can get it from you is by perception. And perception is not what is. Perception is only a perceived happening, not what is happening. This is how far their split fever that I just spoke of in 2047 and 2048, that's how far they have taken their split fever, even into splitting the perception of the human being, or the natural man or woman, or child, or child. So 2049 is the the actuation of the tricking of the parents. The split of the split is what 2049 is. Now 2050 is the actual them claiming, and they don't. Okay, it's just paperwork. It's supposedly them claiming with everybody's approval and transferring a fake bond to wherever they're gonna hold it. And this is where people say, we know where the bodies are buried. This is what they're referring to. This is where they go transfer those because they feel it's theirs into hiding. Now, I found them everywhere from Alaska to the Bank of International Settlements to the IMF. But, you know, like Alaskan tribal claims and stuff like that, they're still only, even with that, they still control part, you know, like most of what's distributed to you. So, yeah, all of that basically, and you'll see later, needs to be torn up, and you do it. Okay, what the gold actually is, when I said gold a few seconds ago, gold is AU. Okay, it's AU. That's gold on the periodic chart. It is your pumping blood. That is what, in other words, you're alive. That's a certificate of alive birth, okay? And that is what lets you make a signature, or what we call an autograph. Okay, so that's how that goes. And that is how that works. But 2050 was about the supposed, and this is where they get all just completely non-true stuff here. This is on paper only, and the deception of it, and they're all war criminals at this point. So 2050, the claiming and transferring of a fake bond to whatever banks and associations and entities there should be only one place, and that's you. All right. Especially when you turn 21, which the SSA, for some reason, doesn't. You get every other kind of, penalty or argument letter or whatever they want to send you, but they will never send you what you really deserve, which is, and what is supposed to come to you. After the age of 21, 18 for guys that are married, otherwise it's 21 for everybody, and they send it to their selective service descendants, minions, associates, affiliates, and all of that crap by the selective service list. That's what I meant earlier. But that's who they send that to, that notice to, of how to operate car dealerships and escrow companies and things like that in your name. Okay, that's where it goes. But 2050, just to close out, is the actual false claiming and false transferring of a fake bond to wherever they do it to. That's, in other words, hiding your estate from you. All right. So that's the explanation of it in the plan. 2051 is the making of the fake. Remember, I always say they make the fake. This is the true one, and take the real. This is the true one. This is the true one. The fake. This is the true one. And when everybody's gone, that's settled down, they take the real one. Make the fake, take the real. Don't forget that. So that's what 2050, Roman Canon Law 2051 does. Okay, so people, 2051 is what refers to what they separated into three, they say, represents. Remember, a representation is not a presentation. So when you steal something, you can't re-present it as a thefted valid item. You just can't do that. And people wonder why we have a house of representatives. Okay? And believe you me, if you caught any of the last ones of these, that's of the ones that are like your Q clearance and your golden Excalibur, your royal Excalibur, and all that stuff. That's where all that is located, people. You can go back and look at that on this platform. But 2051 is what they say one of the three crowns. It's four now because of the I believe one of them is, they all you have to go through that, but one of them they just designated toward the Social Security Administration, but all of it goes through that, and then you go back and back. But there's four trusts, but they call it four crowns. Okay, and it's of the Roman cult, being real property, personal property, and ecclesiastical property, and that again includes the Social Security Administration of your retirement property, okay, or your legacy, or your assets, your estate, enterprise state assets. That's what they've been using, stealing, and everything. They want to try to do everything from you nowadays. The very last bit of, rights and everything that you have, that's taken a drastic U-turn on them right now. But it helps people too if you can do your part, you know what I mean? The denial of right of any rights to natural men and women, other than those chosen as loyal members of the society and as executors and administrators. And that's what I meant by the selective service, the hidden or indicated, not indicated or non-indicated selective service list. They'll tell you it's about the Army. It's not. What they're referring to in their language, that's their loaded language, meaning it means something else besides what is heard aloud, means their descendants, their associates, their minions, and affiliates, and whoever else that they designate. Now I've already showed you from where the point where they steal it and the use of it. So they are the directors and administrators and executors de son tort, I should say, de son tort of nothing. Okay, because they just don't have it. You cannot deal in and give away what is not yours. That's the way it works. That's 2051. Okay. People, let me just clarify one more thing under 2051. the part where they say, well, there's actually two things. The part where the trickery, word trickery part, where they say, represent by means of or representing portrayal of the absent. Take a look at the U.S. House of Representatives, and you'll see all these. They call them the 20. They've dropped it because they started to get caught lately. The 23. There are these 23, including Moses, 23 portraits that hang upon the wall that are supposed to be superior to the original American paintings of our own government, but and they protrude out from the wall toward the power point in the room, which is the speaker. That's where the speaker stands. Like they have, like it's supposed to designate more power than what's there. They're thieves. They can't have more power. That's impossible, and they never will, because they have nothing. They came in and tried to steal the use via the perception, stolen perception of everything, and you cannot do that. So nothing changed. All the power and all the value and all the capital remains with the true sovereign American people. That's it. It's just a show. Okay? The other thing here is this. Well, this is how they word it, but I just told you this in this very last sentence here. Regarding, the executors and administrators, the effect. Here's the effect, because they're always interested in the effect and the outcome. There is no perceptional nor non-perceptional effect on executors and or administrators, chosen or non-chosen, natural men or women, of or for the estates of the sovereign American people. Meaning, nothing happened. All of this just got put in front of you, and it's all a show. People, your estates are your own. Your pumping blood is your own. That's why they have vampires. That's why they have the dark side of things. The vampires, they want to suck your blood. Why? Because they want your AU. Your pumping blood, your gold. That's what they want. That's why they want it, okay? So that's 2051, and I just answered that thoroughly for you. Now, in this same Roman Canon Law 2052, I'm sorry, people, the one last thing here is this. I described the 4 different types of trusts for you. I didn't describe the 3 different types of law that are involved in, getting the perception away or the use away, which is the stealing of them from the true American sovereign people. But the laws, the three different laws that deal with the majorly, that deal with the 4 made-up trusts are this. It is called corporate commercial law, which mostly operates on the first trust that they made, the first SDK-VA trust. The second form of law is the maritime and trust law, and is effective or supposed to be effective because of the second SDK-VA trust that they made up for you, or to do this to you. The third form of law, okay, so we've got corporate commercial law and maritime and trust law. And trust law, as I've heard, is always, as everybody knows it, because not everybody knows maritime, so is the UTC, the Uniform Trust Code. But yeah, this is what I'm reading to you here, is my notes from, or what I'm telling you is my research, my experiences, my everything from my searches and researches and experiences on. Remember, I got a blocking team on me, so, well, that kind of tells one thing, doesn't it? Is as to its validity. Okay, so the 3 types of laws that deal with that is your corporate commercial law, meaning dead law. Maritime and trust law is where you would start. They haven't disclosed maritime to everybody, so it's trust law. They didn't do that either, but that's kind of where they start. That's the UTC. And the third one is called, based on the Talmud. Are you kidding me? Talmudic and Roman cult law was done on your third SDK-VA trust, and based on baptism. Okay, and if you want a fourth one, that would be all the Social Security laws and everything based on the Social Security Administration. And the fourth trust they did that they call retirement stuff. They give you what they have to. They try to minimize that, and then they free flow everything else. That's supposed to be directly 180 opposite people. Now you want the numbers 1 and 8 are very important here. You want to know why? Because on this blocking team here, they tell me a lot of stuff, people. And the blocking team here has, let me tell you, they call it remote nursing. You know, they're spying on me, you know, remotely, but they call it remote. Everything from remote nursing to assisted government operational assistance to whatever, to get them, to keep them out of trouble. But in this fourth Sister VA trust and the SSA laws that they stick to, one of them, which is in the manual, the SSA manual for 1881, it's in the manual. It's under 1881, nursing. They call themselves nurses for spying on you. They call themselves nurses. So they can get nurse equipment. Why? So they can see inside your body as well as out, inside your house as well as out. And so they can see if they're doing really good damage to you or not. That's how they know they can, you know, bring some more on and finish the job. So that is under SSA Manual 1881, the dispersal of funds for nursing equipment. Does that sound like a party to you? I don't think so. And just one more here, one little note here, people, and I promise I'll end 2051, because they get more important and it goes on, but I'm going to make the other ones very short and it's easy to understand there. So, just as a note, besides showcasing the denial of the rights of the true American people again and again, law that corresponds exactly, this is regarding 2051 and all of these fake made-up presumptions and assumptions here. But let's just say law for this instance here. They're not laws. That corresponds exactly to bar association courts. That means the praetorians or attorneys courts, Roman canon law courts. And people, just so I don't forget, you can find those at the bottom of each of the seals that are out front on the building outside of the Securities and Exchange Commission. That's one of them. And the Federal Trade Commission, that's the other. That's the two. Remember the Trading with the Enemies Act? Well, ask them about that act. Remember, act. Okay? Ask them about that act. But the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Federal Trade Commission, those are the main two that have they display their logos outside their buildings, and the bottom numbers are in Roman numerals. That's why I'm giving you this in Roman canon law. But anyhow, regarding these bar association courts, okay, British accredited registry is what they're talking about, but that's even a mask because it all stems back to these Franks and these Nazis. You know, that's basically what masks them. But in reference to all these bar association courts, they have no relevance in American law as attorneys or lawyers. Why? Because they are all foreign agents. They all have to pass this bar association, pass the bar, right? You got to pass the bar. Has a double meaning in the physical court as don't lift that wooden thing up and go on their pirate ship, because they're cons and they're committing piracy, right? Now say that together and you'll get a different pronunciation of the word con-s, piracy, okay? They're all cons and they're committing piracy, inland piracy, people. That's what they're doing. And no part of American law is or has ever been and or ever will be under Roman cult law or the Talmud or the whatever else they're trying to say, dead corporate commercial law, whatever, that is trying to take away your sacred, sovereign, true American heritage, inheritance, which is what that is, and assets. They all belong to you, and they trick you into using your use of them, living your life. That's how they're doing it, people. And that's the end of, I'm sorry, that was 2052 was the different kinds of, the trusts that I explained, as well as the 3 different kinds of laws that cover them. That was 2052. So, yeah, 2051 ended when I was talking about, and this, people, while explaining, 2051 explained the 3 different crowns, or 3 different, or it's 4 actually, as I explained to you, 4 different trusts, the, or crowns as they call it, which was the real property, personal property, ecclesiastical property, and then your retirement property, or your inheritance. Okay, and that is live, living, or dead. That's what explained that. Or you can call them your first, second, third, and fourth Cestet KBA trusts, which are CESTUI, another word QUE, another word VIE, as in, their favorite word, victory, IE, okay, trusts. And that's what covers those. This was 2051, and then it's also what provides the false presumption or assumption, that's 2051, of all of that stuff. And again, there is no perceptional nor non-perceptional effect on executors and or administrators, chosen, non-chosen, men or women, what have you, of or for estates, meaning there's nothing in this under this false presumption or assumption, if it came out wrong earlier, I'm sorry, that gives any kind of power or any kind of nod to these war criminal fakers, these American imposters, these literal, treasonists. That's what they are. These Franks, Nazis, Nazis, and all of that. All right. And then when we got into 2052, it was just talking about the 3 different laws that cover those 4 different trusts: corporate commercial law, maritime and trust law, Talmudic, and Roman cult law. Talmudic, really. And then again, it establishes the false presumptions and assumptions of the these idiots who came in and did all of this to ourselves. Tell you what, people, the next time you're in court, ask the attorneys for their bar card. This is a funny one, just for a little fun. Ask them for their bar card. Actually, don't do this, but if you know about it, maybe you can. But I always thought it'd be funny to ask them for their bar card, and I just want to make sure you're a real attorney. Oh, yeah, sure, here you go. Well, then, arrest him, Sheriff. Bailey, turn around, you're under arrest for, you have your FARA papers, your Foreign Agent Registration Act papers? You got those? Nope. Well, they're foreign agents, people. All the attorneys are foreign agents, and lawyers are foreign agents. There are good ones that have never been briefed on all of this, but, you know what I'm saying, okay? All right, so I'm going to try to wrap this up real quick here, people. So, Canon 20, Roman Canon 2053, or Canon 2053, starts touching on the certificate of live birth issued under this particular Roman canon law that represents the modern equivalent to the settlement certificates of the 17th century, which are not these birth certificates, that are issued under this modern equivalent, it's not equal because they're fake, of the 17th century, which are not certificates of live birth. All right, but yours is, and just keeping it to your state, limited to your state, and certified by your state, yes, they are. So in other words, let me simplify that for you. A birth certificate is not the same as a certificate of live birth. And it should be a live birth. On one of my last ones that I made on this one before I started the Golden Series, sorry, darling, I had given 2 little remedies for this, or add-ons to kind of fill in all the holes to what they were trying to do. And now they can't say shit. Okay, sorry for the language. So people, to make it simple, under 2053, these are fake pieces of paper, and they have no, even though they may try to refer to us, they have no direct relation to, just like their fake, screwed up family members that they try to say that we have. They have no direct tie to any of the true sovereign American people. Nothing. And you cannot deal in, give away, or do anything otherwise with what is not yours. Okay? So with these particular certificates, that's what 2053 clarifies. And 2053 also says that also you cannot force the administration. It doesn't specify, so that's another big-ass question mark, of a state, that's you and I, an actual state of being, a united one, or nation. Remember, they're a Lebensbaum, these Franks and Nazis. They're Lebensbaum. That means they're a people without, well, they're creatures, but a people without a nation. That's what Lebensbaum means. And if you look up Lowenbaum, that'll probably get you too red in the face to continue here, so we'll leave that out for now. But let's just mention Henry Kissinger and Clint Hill, the one of the Secret Service who dived on the back of a certain limo. Yeah, they were part of the infiltrants. They were Nazi officers, and into World War II got transferred here with guess who? The military. Along with General Reinhard Gehlen, the one who set up all the intelligence agencies around the world. But anyhow, they cannot be used to force the administration, meaning any administration of ourselves or of a TV administration even, that's all they are, is just a business office, to divulge the existence of these secret trusts. These SKBA trusts, that's why nobody hears of them. But don't forget, just always go back to the Durham report, the real one. See, this is what President Donald J. Trump, he is the only one that's actually doing things right here, people, has been reminding you of. That's one of the, he shows you by these events. And there was, yes, there was a Durham report, but he's telling you to refer to the real Durham report of 1838. That's what he's telling you. All right? And again, birth certificates are not the same as certificates of alive or live birth, especially certified and or authenticated. They're just not. Okay, now people, stay with me here because I'm almost done. But we're going to cover 3 more. 2054, 2055, 2056. I'm sorry, 4 more. And 2057. But they cover it quickly. So 2054 basically covers the fact that it's everything I've already said, you know. But it covers these in kind of summary. These Sister KVA trusts are created as private secret trusts or Fied commissary trusts, and that was first to get them away from the American sovereign people so they could steal them, then do the plans and the paperwork, and then use them against the American sovereign people. all war crimes and all war criminal activities, people. And that they're supposed to be released to you at 21. They never are. We're not notified, but somebody is. Ever wonder why all these people on YouTube, they enjoy all these big houses, multiple cars, and they play practical jokes on each other all day? Ever wonder how that happens? Well, there's a lot of them. They must be kids, or even if they are paid, it's just a way to distribute money, people. That would be fake fallacy money. That's another story, but yeah, if you look up the US dollar, it's a fallacy. It's a fake fallacy dollar. It doesn't exist. It has no value. Our capital does, but that does not. All right? But that's what they're meaning there as well. It's also in 2054. And instead, it's stolen by these invading, treasonous, occupying Franks and Nazis, and given to their minions and the associates, the kids or whatever, affiliates, or whomever they, supposedly designate, in place of the true American sovereign people, whom said estates and capital access issuing privileges truly belong to, and access issuing privilege truly belong to. I just explained that to you too. They never receive said estates and trusts, and never know of their existence, or when I say there, I mean the true sovereign American people. They never know of their true inheritance. That is the way this has worked since way back at the beginning of Canon 2049. And this goes all the way back to technically 1666, people. All of a sudden involving Vatican City and the lost at sea thing. They consider you lost at sea. You're really lost. Well, if we're lost, how do they always find us for bills and stuff like that and want to pay the bill, right? Don't think so. Plus, they're operating on the name, not ourselves, which they want to deny later. How's that for convenience, right? Now, Roman Canon Law 2050, or Roman Canon 2054, is also important because it stresses again the presumptions or assumptions, which are basically made-up stuff, equals made-up stuff, basically, to get it away from you. But the term estates, as in estates, enterprise states, or estates in Spanish, estates in Spanish, all of that is mentioned clearly, with estates clearly stated in succession for the first time in these particular canons, stated clearly for the first time in reference to these Sesta KVA trusts and or private secret trusts and or fied commissary trusts. That is your nexus, people. So 2054 contains your nexus to these. That's it. That's proof. That's it. But wait, we got 3 more to go here, and they're quick and easy. Which these Franks/Nazis use. That's called usury. Any way they can, under slightly different versions of the true owner's ID. That's accounts, sub-accounts. The way it works, people, is this. They all get up under your main Social Security account. They do what's called a graft, paperwork-wise, meaning they drill into your main tub of assets of your inheritance, your heritage funds, of what's been left for you, and that was started and left, meaning what your prior ancestors didn't use, that you are to enjoy yourself and yourself only under the laws of usufruct. That's their own term, usufruct, meaning while you're alive and they're not. Okay, now their minions do, but they don't have authority to use any because of what they've done. So that means all of theirs actually belongs to ourselves. And I know how that works because all of these fake family members and themselves got grafted up under that main account that I just described to you. So guess what, people? That means you actually own their estates as well. How sweet, huh? Okay, so people, if pushed back up against the wall, and if they're really, heavy, supposedly loyal to them, meaning not the American sovereign people, praetorian attorneys, they'll probably use if really pushed up against the wall, and all of this that I've said just got said, they'll probably say something like, well, it's the claimed private property of the Roman cult banks, or, the Roman banks and Roman cult banks, and therefore cannot be claimed or used. Well, wait till you hear what happens in this next one, or the next couple here. Because what happens at this point is they are running, retreating. And that is pure procedural, and it's provable. Because they've already written it down. They've already got it printed down and distributed. Which now brings us to Canon 2055, Roman Canon 2055. And this is how it goes. While the private secret trusts of the private central banks cannot be directly addressed, they are still formed on certain presumptions and or assumptions. That's the two words right there. It means made up of law, including claimed ownership of the name. Now they want to mention the name, which before they're just concerned about splitting it from yourself. They want to split this name from the mind, body, and soul of infants, or natural infants, babies, and natural men and natural women. Okay, that's what they do. Now, I'll get to the ones who have it worse off here in just a second, but that doesn't change anything of the grand larceny and theft and war crime that went on. Each and every man and woman has the absolute right. Now, I have, in my notes, have this double underlined, people, so this is important. Listen carefully. This is under Roman Canon 2055. Each and every man and woman, again, Roman Canon Law 20, or Roman Canon 2055. That means they did it, not me. Okay? Each and every man and woman has the absolute right to rebuke and reject such false presumptions and or assumptions for effect and or perception, the two very things they used to do all of this crap and have their rich lifestyle, which they owned nothing. You'll see in the corporate world, they say, oh, don't worry about ownership, and don't ever mention it, just control. You want to be able to control something. That is the stupidest. If you own it, you control it. That's it. That is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional here, but I don't like seeing, sweet old ladies or young couples just trying to make a go of it, or, the righteous, sovereign American people, or any country all over the world. Hate seeing them, lied to and ripped off over a lie and a deception just so that somebody else can enjoy what really belonged to them or belongs to them. Nothing sets me off more than that right there. And it is just not right, and that is why I am talking to you now. Okay? So, and I'm so sorry to get worked up like that. I just, I'm for the, just what is right and proper and the wronged, not, not these idiots who want to try to adjust their hair once or twice a day and say they had a hard day's work and are sitting back on a whole stolen pile of loot. No, that's not me. But, so again, in a nutshell, because that's what they are, exactly what they are, just nuts, psychopathic nuts, all right, beyond war criminally insane nuts. So Canon 2055 just proved all presumptions and or assumptions are false, which supposedly give control of said sesticay, the trust of said cestic, which supposedly give control of said via trust to a Roman cult or Roman cult bank. Notice I said supposedly. And or private bank or fiat commissary bank or whatever they call them nowadays, it's all the same. Which is also untrue. And the holder of their own title. They don't hold anything, people. They don't hold anything. If you listen to their lessons, what I just said on wanting to control everything, not necessarily own everything, meaning they don't want to show that they own anything because they don't want to get taxed for it, number one. And number two, it's because they know it's a direct financial path to them. So that's how that works. You own your title, people. You own your assets. You've been stolen from, and that's it. The people. I always divide it into people. There's only two types of, let's just say, living beings in the world. One is the people that are sovereign to their own countries. And there are the creatures who wannabes, the leaders. They're leaders or pretend leaders. That's all it is. The people of every country lead their country, but they've been deceived out of doing it forever. And ever, it seems like. It's been thousands of years. But, at least the past, let's just call it back to 1666. Okay? And that came out of London. And then, of course, just before that's why they ever wonder why people wanted to run to this country, people? And guess who immediately followed? Those are called the Puritans. They said, well, and this is a quote from them, while the Americans are busy surviving, we will be living it up on their true value and assets or estates. That's from the Puritans. So they started distributing books for them to read, keeping them busy. This is what they still do today. Keeping them busy, meaning your job or something like that, to keep them busy so they can't pursue them, poor enough so they can't pursue them. Well, you've actually been rich the whole time, people. Never mind Glinda's 3 clicks of the heels in The Wizard of Oz. You need to look at that other book I told you about by the same author called The Master Key. It's your smartphone, people. But even more than that, it's that you own everything, not them. You. All of the bills and signature, all that stuff in Congress and Senate, whatever, it's all, look, Washington, D.C. cannot vote. People, they cannot vote as a territory. They cannot vote. We can. We can vote collectively. We can vote as a group. We can vote as a entity, but they cannot. Now, how screwed up is that? That all of that base is out of there. Why? Because it's all pretend. Or if you've seen Wag the Dog, it's a pageant, right? They want to make the fake take the real. It's all this other stuff. They'll call it other things, and then they want to end up with your assets. That's the way it ends up. Don't forget all those people on YouTube I told you about that tend to want to play practical jokes on each other all day, and then or they want to go out and give Jordans out all day, or pay for everybody's groceries all day. Ever wonder how they do that? That's our privileges, people. And as far as the Senate and the Congress go, who people know as, people, did you know we are the only ones that can sign for that? The true sovereign American. Not them. They can approve it, but they can't sign for it. I can. You can, but they can't. They cannot. Okay, so that's how all this stuff works. You've got a, war criminal, think they don't have to answer to anybody or anything or any law, war entity in this country that is pretending to be your leaders. That's the real AI. That is American imposters. And for abbreviations, they got a whole lot of them, people. Let me tell you. But that's 2055. That's Roman Canon Law 2055. We got 2 more, and we're done. And then you'll know all about what you need to know about, because this is everything and everything. And I'm sorry, Golden, darling, I am so sorry this is taking so long. But once you get me started on this, I just keep going. I am so sorry. Please accept my deepest apologies for this, darling. I just got to get this done here, so I hope you don't mind. But Canon 2056, Roman Canon 2056, given the private secret trust or the fiat commissary trust, the private central banks are created on false presumptions and or assumptions. Again, that goes into the, or gets into the remedy for historical cost accounting versus constant purchasing power. That's what we're supposed to have. But it got clicked over. They took the use of it and left us with historical cost accounting, meaning you have to work with your sweat labor to gain $1. Well, even so, House Joint Resolution or House Resolution 192 says we are prepaid for, people. You don't have to work to exist on this planet. Okay, that's 1933. Oh, the same year we were invaded with a coup? I think so. The same year that Smedley Butler was approached and asked to assist in a 1933 coup? I think so. Okay, so, it's not hard. All right, so they're created on false presumptions and or assumptions, meaning made up. When a man or woman makes clear, now listen to this, people, this is them confessing, because they have to disclose everything before they operate it. And then they say, oh, they didn't do anything about it, so we just took it. No. Well, here's what they wrote and the disclosure. So given the private secret trusts of the private central banks or the fiat commissary trusts are created on false presumptions and or assumptions, when a natural man or natural woman and or child makes clear their live-born record and claim over their own name, already done here, people, just letting you know several times, but all they want to do is try to penalize you somehow, make you wait, penalize you in their fake fallacy currency, which is not a currency or what have you. When they make it clear that their live-born record, they have a live-born record or certificate of live birth, and claim over their own name, body, mind, and soul, that's called intent, any such trust based on such false presumptions or assumptions and or assumptions. Now get this, people. Now listen to this. When all of that is brought to the front, such trust ceases to have any property. Does that not sound like to you a way for them to just boop, with a poof, get out of trouble? Oh, we didn't do anything. There's no property in there. Well, they sure as hell act like it when it does. When it seems like it has property in there. And by the way, the blocking teams, like the ones that are on me right now, crew leader named Maylene Taylor Sutera and her assistant, Larry Littlebitch, who just stole $300 worth of credit from my credit card, worse, a Social Security Administration card called Direct Express, where you get these kinds of funds funneled onto. And, mine's a little unique, and I'm not of retirement age yet, but I get it another way because I just qualify for it. And I do it legally. But anyway, yeah. To put it on $300 the first time they've done it, because it told me something different, that they're very, very, very desperate here. Okay? So that's what it's saying. And this is the second month in a row that they've done this. I had to change, people. I had to change because they've gone ballistic. I have had to change all of my credit cards. All of them. I don't have many. I just have like 2, but I had to change all of them. 3, including another debit card. I had to change all of them because they were starting to put everything on my charges. And the one I call Larry Littlebitch even was dumb enough to put Larry Little B, or Little B, on the Google charge. Here's the difference. How many people out there know how to, when you get your card, exactly what's going to be printed out on your statement? Know how it's a little different? You know it's for, Jerry's ice cream, but you don't necessarily know how it's going to be listed as Jerry's ice cream on there. But they know the exact wording and might add a little something extra just so that you know it's them. Yeah, well, this was through Google, knowing that Google assists them and knowing somebody, or at least knowing somebody who knows somebody who was able to word it like that. I kind of find that a little unbelievable, if you know what I mean. So we'll leave it at that. But any time, people, under 2056, Canon 2056, that this is brought to somebody's attention, they are supposed to immediately assist you. Or they are immediately recognized as a participator, a treasonist, and a war criminal due to the decades-long invasion, usurpation, sedition, insurrection, and everything else that's been going on since decades long now. I put it over a century and a half, and I'm not going to get into it now, but maybe I can do it at a later time. And back to the birth of this country. Because they don't like to give free people too long before they start to try to infiltrate. And that crap needs to be shut down right now. And before we get to 2057, people, this is the final one. I have sent all confirmation, all materials, all proof to all of these fake agencies, all fake agencies that need to be attentioned. Every one, including the very top. Use your imagination on that one. To me, there is no very top because they're all pretend agencies. They're all theater. The only thing that there is our Chief Executive Officer. We are all presidents. Principal residents, that's what it is. Meaning a live soul who was born and lives here, who is sovereign. That's a principal resident or president. But you're a principal resident of your own body, your own home, people. That's how that works. I have sent one to everyone that you indicated. Now, I just did everybody a big favor. This is almost 17 years for me, so please listen to this and listen carefully. I just did you a big 17-year favor. They are not there. In their mind, they have been decapitated or de-seed. Decapitated in their mind, okay? So it doesn't mean that they don't have to do what we say. We're nobody here, haha, joke's on you. Oh, no. It means that they're going to either be a participator in this piracy, or they're going to be on the side of the American sovereign people. So, just like somebody said one time at the speaker's microphone, you're either with us or you're with the terrorists. Well, they tend to look at things in a big mirror, people. I hate to say that. But they tend to look at things in a big mirror. It comes from Alice 2 through the looking glass. And that's why they think they can do all crime and hold people to do things that they really don't want to do, because they're mimicking a children's story. That's all they're doing. I mean, this is 17 years of research, people, and searching and being punished for it. And only searching and researching for prior things done to me. So that is exactly what I'm talking about here. So just remember that. So the highest court in the land, people, is yourself. Because I have gotten no response from any of them. And I don't give a crap if these blocking teams are intercepting the U.S. mail or not. Maybe they shouldn't be. Because now I fall under trust law. No response. That means that outside of 45 days, well, I get to have it my way at Burger King and just about everywhere else. Okay? So I am the highest court most supreme court in this land. I am the living court of this land, and you are too. And where does it take place? At your kitchen table, or wherever you think you want to have a home office and make such decisions, because you can, they cannot. You can authorize the American budget. They cannot. So they rely on these omnibus bills that were done in the past and just drop a piece of paper that says, yeah, that can be done, and so they don't have to get blamed for it. No, 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 no. All of that is, again, if you remember, sua sponte, ab initio. Okay? And you can go back. I won't make you look everything up, but you can go back earlier in this little speaking engagement here, and you can find it. And Golden, again, darling, I am so sorry. I'm almost done here. Last one, Canon 2057. Any administrator. Now listen to this, because this is this is their end. Canon 2057. Again, we're going under Roman canon laws. 3.3. Get it? 33. Article 100. Canon 2057. Any, and I mean any, administrator or executive, or executor, I'm sorry. Now, when you go to the courthouse to file your stuff, people, that also means the clerk or the clerk's office that refuses, any administrator or executor that refuses to dissolve a Sesta KVA trust and start working with you, get it dissolved so that it comes to your name or whatever, not just poof and it's gone. Or at least so you can have your lost, stolen assets upon a person establishing their status. And that assets meaning privileges as well, so that you issue your own capital, it not be blocked and all that stuff. For example, certificate of alive birth and competency, again, which I did years ago, is guilty of fraud. People, fraud has no statute of limitations, in case they try to throw that one in your face. Fraud is the only crime, apparently, that I'm aware of that does not have a statute of limitations. It's usually from when you find out when the crime is, which would still be okay in your case, but you would have to move fast. No, there's too much information that has to be uncovered, discovered. So when all this is done once, it should be done for all. Where we go one, we go all, right? So consider me the one, and you've already done it, people. That's it. That's the way full faith and credit works. In one state, well then in all states. That's the way it works. Okay? So, any administrator or executor that refuses to dissolve a Sesta KVA trust upon a person establishing their status and competency is guilty of fraud and their fundamental breach of their fiduciary duties is then recognized, requiring their immediate removal and punishment. Well, there's many of us that have already done that, and it's time that these idiots, and they're dumb people, they're not intelligent, they all nest in the intelligence community. This is plural, like, the one central one and the 17 around them supposedly, or 17 total. I don't really give a shit, please excuse my French, language pranks. Sorry, I'm confused right now. Sorry. I don't really care, because I know who is in this country, and I know what's owed to everybody. All right. It requires their immediate removal and punishment. And the blocking team, as I feel you in live here, the crew leader's going nuts right now. She's absolutely going nuts, absolutely screaming, just can't take it. Well, to me, behaviorally, that's an indication of 1,000% guilt, people. At least 100. Okay? And her name, again, is Maylene Taylor Sutera. S-U-T-E-R-A. Just in case you don't know how to spell that. Maylene with a M-A-Y-L-E-N-E or an I-N-E. Taylor, you know how to spell Taylor. That's the middle name. Anyway, and people, just as one last reminder here, that's all of them. That's 2057. That proves everything that you are owed, how it was done, what belongs to you, and who needs to get the hell out of here. If not, they need to be taken out. That's it. That's it. Okay? So, let me explain to you, when you send this stuff in, mine went into IRS, as I indicated the other night, twice. I used GSA forms once, because I didn't want them to come back at me with half, whatever. But you can do it just with the IRS, which they split you into two as well. Look at that. It's, I believe, your regular 1040 form, and then there's a 1041. That's your estate side, your estate side, your business estate side. It wouldn't matter because they're supposed to take up their responsibility and do both sides for you once they know what you are indicating and what you want. And don't let them throw these words like, now listen to this, please, because I don't want, these good people who I love so much to go through this, okay? Don't let them throw these words like portability, to port all the assets that are coming to you. They want to be able to try to keep every bit of them for themselves or as much as possible. No. And this is my judgment. And people, if you don't know, I believe it was a 1098-F. I gave this judgment. They disobeyed it. 1098-F makes you the judge, and I gave an amount, and they disobeyed it. Like it wasn't even there until years later. And then they want to try to say that, they mentioned this word frivolous. Frivolous means, people, it means unweighted or without importance. It's not stating that anything's a crime, especially, that's by definition, especially when you indicate that, please call me if anything seems off, comes up, or you don't understand anything, you don't comprehend anything. Please call me. Here is the number. Here's the contact information. They'll wait till all of that is gone and then till they can say something is lost in the mail. And they won't send it certified like you did, but they will send it through some kind of regular something saying that, it must have been lost in the mail. Or somebody can intercept or whatever. Don't let them do that to you people. And they'll make you vote. They'll make you vote in there. Do you vote? Do you elect that you want, really elect that you want these inheritance funds ported over? Aside from the portability question, you idiots. Oh, freaking course we do. And this is how they've been getting away with it for way too long, at least since 1933 and before the 20th century began. I go back to the middle and beginning of the 19th century and before that. But anyhow, but people, and again, Golden Darling, I'm so sorry this took so long, but I wanted to get this in complete for you so at least you'll know. So just to recap really quickly what numbers they are. With the Praetorians' system of the way they do it between themselves, and the two buildings that sport these Roman numerals outside and front, on the outsides of their buildings, that means public advertising, people, Roman numerals, okay? Under Roman canon laws, which just by inky freaking dink, Canons 2045 through Canon 2057, it explains exactly what they did, exactly what you are due, and exactly what is to happen to them if they disobey your demand and or order and or request for all of your inheritance, your assets, your heritage, everything that has been held from you and has been being used in simple ways. You can remember it like this. Only you have been able to put something on your room And your room is called the United States of America, or United States of America, the living one. You know. Only you are able to do that. They went in and stole that privilege from you and have been living it up ever since, while they tried to act like their agencies are non-quasi, meaning they have nothing to do with the United States of America people. But they tell you they are, while acting like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. All of this, or I'm sorry, honey, but you can't go anywhere right now because we're just low on funds and we don't have the funding to send you here, send you there, whatever. Whether that's a family or an institution, and I think you'll know the difference. No. People, you had the power the whole time, just like they tell you at the end of The Wizard of Oz. With 3 clicks of a heel. Now, at that time, guess how many crown trusts they had? Just guess. How many clicks of the heel were there? And how many trusts were there? Now there's 4. So if they made a new version, I'm sure it'd probably be 4, but they'll try to stick with the 3 to throw you off. Okay? That's the way it works. That is the way that Roman Canon Law 2045 to 2057 works. This is the Golden 9. It has nothing to do with yourself, Golden Darling. It's, you know what I mean, right? You know how I feel about you. You're the sweetest, most cutest thing I think I've ever seen. So please don't mistake this. But these are the Golden 9, meaning the golden 9 digits that people take in your Social Security number, in other words. The business side of it, which is the front, which is what you read. That it's established for. Established for only you, okay? Before they take it into a car dealership's fleet manager, and they automatically had to know they place them in there. They know how to do the paperwork, people, and they use that to get them a new car. And don't let a single one of them tell you they don't know, because they know. If not, go look in the files. I'm sure you'll find it. Or any escrow company that can just walk in, all of a sudden the escrow company manager takes them into their, the thing that gave them away was their receptionists, because they were in on it too. And they behave the same way that they do. While everybody else is out at the open table, she takes one couple back behind closed doors so they can do the automatic, oh, well, go ahead and get your house payment squared away all the way through the year 2045 or whatever it is, and 55, and yeah, we'll get this taken care of for you, and you don't even have to worry about a single payment or troubling yourself with sending any coupon or anything. We'll take care of it. That's how they do that. No. Both of those are our privileges, people. The American sovereign people. That's how it works. That's what was stolen, the use of. And I got a feeling this thing is getting ready to take a very sharp turn. Never to return. Okay? I'm just saying so. So, listen, everybody, I'm so sorry this one went long. I was I can squeeze this in 20 minutes. Yeah, I was right about that one. Not. But anyhow, please, everybody, please take care of yourself. If you do approach any of this, please do your research and make sure you know at least as exactly the way I've explained it, what you're talking about, and you know how it works and everything and the reasonings behind it. I love each and every one of you. And again, Golden, darling, you know how I feel about you. I love you so very, very much. Please stay safe, and please, you know, take care of yourself. You know, health is important, although that's another angle they try to go in with as well. So anyway, please take care of yourselves, and I wish everybody only the best. And I really, really hope that all of this is corrected very, very soon. I have a good feeling that it will be, but you still have to keep, you know, trying and moving forward. You know, one of my sayings that I always say You know, it's, you know, I call him my earth daddy, or my father. You know, it's, you know, he was, if you didn't do it right or do it right the first time, you get the blank out. And yeah, it's not like it was intentional, but yeah, I found myself out of there quite a few times. But anyway, just, yeah, to make sure that it's done right. And I love him, and I couldn't miss him more. But everybody, please take care of yourselves. God bless you. I love you, all of you. And Golden, darling, I'll talk to you and everybody the next time, okay? And I'm sorry this took so long here, and I'm sorry it took so long to get up here, okay? So please take care, and I'll talk to everybody next time, okay? God bless you. Bye-bye.